yellowish light suddenly appear on top of jumbled hills, making a motion to the right for about 15 seconds or so. Next, exactly at 8:15 p.m., we had another sighting of the same object that suddenly appeared on top of jumbled hills, came up above the hills, and made its appearance, went slightly to the right side, and at that juncture in time, it made a sudden descension and a back turn, which I estimated to be possibly about 5,000 feet sudden descension, a back turn descension. And I had never seen anything like that in my life ever, and it is definitely a test flight of highly unusual object, a demonstration of technology, a propulsion system so exotic right now.
The finder of the Celestron telescope, and I saw for myself,
began to float probably about a mile away from us in the open desert. We got out of the car, ran towards the object, and got within a few hundred yards of a large disc-shaped object about 40 feet in diameter that looked like a saucer with a teacup on the top of it. It glowed a brilliant reddish-orange color and then glowed a real bright yellow color. On one occasion,
what we actually saw, Michael, was a craft that was ellipsoidal in shape. It was pulsating brightly, and
there are at least 8 black programs flying out of Groom Lake, out of Area 51. That does not count the B-2 bomber, because it's not a black program. It does not count the F-117, which is virtually a white program today. There are at least 2 very, very high-speed aircraft that have been reported since 1982 is when we've heard the first reports of them. One of them is a small aircraft. It goes approximately Mach 4 to Mach 6. There's an aircraft that has been tracked out of the Bay Area TRACON in Oakland, California, by the Federal Aviation Administration Center at least 8 times since 1986, flying in excess of 10,000 miles an hour going through controlled airspace, and a very, very large aircraft at that. Besides the 2 high-speed aircraft, there is a stealth or low observable electronic warfare aircraft. It's been referred to as Excalibur. There is an aircraft that is designed to fly very, very high, but very, very slow and very, very quiet. There's been some rumblings or reports that it's a flying triangle, much like the canceled McDonnell Douglas General Dynamics A-12 that was going to be an attack aircraft. Just recently, out of Lancaster, California, taken off from Palm. A year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
Joaquin Valley, Rockwell in the San Joaquin, Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas, and Northrop in the Antelope Valleys. And these operations are extremely suspicious. They have a surface cover activity. They call themselves RCS testing sites. That stands for radar cross-section. And apparently their presumed purpose is to test various aeroform designs atop pylons with radar cross-section. And the disturbing part is that we have found out with incontrovertible proof that there are extensive underground facilities. And for example, Northrop, we have documented to have 42 levels underground. Now, if this is radar cross-section testing, which is above ground, why do they need 42 levels underground? Also, at the Lockheed facility out in Helendale, we had an investigative reporter who saw a blueprint of the building plans for that facility that he wasn't supposed to see. it showed that they had an extensive underground facility 300 feet down.
Over public land on May 16th, 1991. A group of us, altogether 18 of us, were in a 7-car caravan just coming back on Groom Road after taking pictures of the warning sign area. We were coming back to Highway 375. But suddenly, we heard a thunderous sound overhead, as if a railroad was passing over our cars. When we looked up, there was this military helicopter that appeared and came about 5 to 8 feet above our cars on purpose, harassing us, intimidating us, and for the next 15 to 16 minutes, we were trying to get away from this helicopter. We were frantically trying to drive and go away from this area, and we were buzzed by this helicopter continuously for 15 minutes. In one occasion, this helicopter circled around as we were driving, and...
Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Jeez. How can you see anything with it?
It went behind the mountain. There it is. There it is.
One more time. Okay. That's flying over there.
I see one.
Huh?
I see one.
Yeah, it's test flying. It's going to continue for the next stop.
Here it is.
Yeah, it's flying over there.
Yeah, it's moving back and forth.
Take a look at here. Yeah, take a look at it. It's at light. See, when I see it, it's darker out.
Hovering over there.
I had to put the gain on just to see it. Boy, am I better.
Yeah, right.
Fortunately, this isn't doing me any good.
Yeah. I think so.
Let's come.
flares, aerial maneuvers, or test flights of extraterrestrial spacecraft? One thing is sure. Their flight characteristics were more than unconventional. Our eyewitnesses were convinced.
Was that they saw in the skies above Nevada. We'll try and have some answers next. A big UFO convention came to an end in Las Vegas last night, and afterwards, naturally, some of the members went out in the desert to search for UFOs. A news crew went along, too, and sure enough, it wasn't long before a mysterious, unidentified object appeared. Not too surprising, somewhere up there, you see it, because this patch of desert is right near a military test site. This looked like no aircraft lights that any of these folks had ever seen.
This was a bona fide UFO sighting?
I think it was, yeah.
And UFO means unknown flying object, and this definitely was nothing I've ever seen before.
Was it a bird? Was it a plane? Was it the Aurora, the secret plane? We don't know. More to come, I'm sure, and the Air Force is not saying anything as usual.
Well, fascinating. You have a good weekend, of course, all of you. Good night, everybody.